Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here on the ZachPlaysAN channel. Today, we are going to be doing a bit of a beginner's guide to Soulflow. Soulflow is this new kind of extra essence or material that you can kind of farm through minions and also buy through the bazaar. It's very interesting. It helps with a lot of perks. It's like a new type of mana that you can consume and also use for different abilities. It's really interesting, yet slightly complicated when you first look at it. So today, we're going to be doing a bit of a beginner's guide to Soulflow. Hopefully this helps you out a little bit if you're trying to get into the new update, and hopefully it helps myself as well, because I'm a little confused as well. If this is your first time here on the channel and you want to stay up to date on everything Hypixel Skyblock, consider subscribing. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, and your support would mean the absolute world to me. So without further ado, leave a like and let's get right into today's video. So let's go back to when this update came out. This update came out roughly 2 days ago on May 31st, where you can actually now use the Enderman Slayer. It's a new Slayer. We finally got a new one. Honestly, I'm so happy we did, because we haven't had a proper Slayers update besides Rev Tier 5, like, ever since Slayers came out, well over a year ago. So it's really cool that we're finally seeing a new Slayer, and they literally did not hold back any punches. This is beyond late game content. If you're early game, this update sadly isn't for you. Like on my Iron Man, for example, I can't do anything on this thing. I really can't. But it's really interesting what they've done here, especially with like the strength nerf as well. It's really hard to get your damage back up. So it's a very, very challenging update. And so they've added these new abilities that you can actually use through like different armor sets as well as different items. And you can consume this new material called Soulflow. If you're looking for a quick way to get Soulflow, if you go to the bazaar under the Void Gloom Seraph tab, which is the new Slayer name, if you click on that, you can see raw Soulflow and the actual compacted Soulflow. And so raw Soulflow is honestly decently cheap now. You can, as you can see, you can set up a buy order for a little over 6k or insta buy for about 7k. The compacted version of Soulflow, as you can see here, you can buy it for 1.8 mil right now, or you can set up a buy order for 930k. I don't know if that will fill, but as you can see, the price has definitely gone down from the update, because yesterday alone, this thing was well over 3 mil. But not only can you buy it from the actual bazaar, you can actually make it through your minions. Similar to putting a diamond spreading into a minion and that produces diamonds, that's the similar idea of how you can get Soulflow from your minions actually. And so you have to be Enderman Slayer level 2 to unlock the recipe of the first tier engine. I believe there's actual higher tier engines. Don't quote me on that, but I need to get further along to see that. That's why this is a beginner guide. Once I've like level 7 Enderman, I can come back and show you guys everything to do with Soulflow. But as you can see here, you unlock the recipe for the actual compacted Soulflow at Enderman level 2. You also unlock the Soulflow pile, which is the first iteration of the talisman. This is actually really interesting too. We'll talk about this in a second. But you also unlock the lesser Soulflow engine. So this is the minion upgrade that you can actually put into your minions. Placing it in the minion will reduce the minion's output by 50%. So that minion will work half as fast, but it will start generating Soulflow. So it's a bit of a trade-off. And as you can see currently right now, the lowest bin is 14.4 mil for the Soulflow engine. So as you can see, to craft it, you need 6 null ovoids, which is another one of the new items. You also need 48 enchanted eyes of ender and 8 enchanted iron blocks. To get a null ovoid, you need half a stack of enchanted obsidian and 2 stacks of the null spheres, which drop from the new Enderman Slayers. Once you actually put one of these engines into your minion, it starts making these really cool like purple particles. As you can see, I only have 1 engine in, and you can very clearly see which minion actually has it in. So if we go ahead and look, as you can see, I have the item in here as well as the super compactor. I put this in probably yesterday, and I already have 2 of the compacted Soulflow and 60 extra raw Soulflow. So I could either take this and sell it for a lot of money, or I can use it to actually consume it to actually get my hands on some more Soulflow. You might be wondering what's the difference between raw Soulflow and like this bigger, larger version of Soulflow. So raw Soulflow, it's basically like enchanting an item, for example, and that's literally exactly how much more Soulflow you get as well. So 1 raw Soulflow will give you 1 Soulflow. As you can see, hold and right click to consume, gaining 1 Soulflow. So you right click it, as you can see, consume Soulflow question mark, takes all the Soulflow items in your inventory and internalizes them to be ready for use. So adding from inventory, I have 321 to add right now. If I were to just have this one, I would click it, I would gain 1 Soulflow. If I right click this is one of the larger ones, and it also just consumes your whole inventory, which I think is kind of cool, honestly. but this would give me an extra 160 Soulflow, which is exactly how many raw Soulflow it takes to craft this item, 160 of them. Soulflow works a little bit differently to any of your other stats. For example, you won't find your Soulflow count in your Skyblock profile because it's not actually an effect that is stored like that. It's actually a resource that you can keep stored inside the new talisman. So if we go into the recipe book for Slayers, I'll show you guys how to craft this thing. It's actually very cheap to craft. It is 90 of the null spheres. You can buy this for cheap on the bazaar, or you can get this after a little bit of killing some tier 2s, or even tier 1s you could save up for this, of the new Enderman Slayer. But as you can see, the Soulflow pile. So as you can see at the top, it says internalized. That is how much Soulflow I currently have inside my Skyblock profile. Ability Overflow Mana. When leaving combat, convert up to 5 Soulflow into 200 Overflow Mana. Overflow mana is something that I'm still doing my best to understand. If you guys want me to look more into that and make another video on it, it's like another type of resource that you keep inside yourself. It's strange, but you can also enable and disable this talisman. Forewarning though, as you can see, I have it currently disabled, so it doesn't use my Soulflow. It's still taking my Soulflow, but not all the time, so I think it's a little bit bugged at the moment. But you can simply just take the talisman and right click it, and you can turn it on and off. As you can see, enabled on, enabled off, just like so. Now that we've talked about how to actually produce Soulflow and how to get your hands on it, you might be wondering, what does it do from here? Now you have the material, what can you actually use it on? So if we go ahead and take a look, almost all the new items, or a majority of a lot of the new items, actually have Soulflow abilities, where it costs Soulflow similar to how an ability costs mana. For example, when I right click my aspect to the end with Ultimate Wise 5, it takes 25 mana and I get teleported a certain amount of blocks. That is called an ability. And so there are Soulflow abilities now. So for example, on the brand new armor set I'm wearing, which you unlock at Ender Slayer 4, as you can see, the full set bonus, Vivacious Darkness. It costs 2 Soulflow per 5 seconds in combat, and in exchange it gives me plus 50 strength, plus 30 bonus attack speed, plus 10 speed. It multiplies my intelligence by 1.2 times, and it also gives me plus 200 ferocity against Enderman. Now this is an example of a really good boost. This is why when you're fighting some of the higher level Slayers, having this armor set and using your Soulflow can help you a ton. That is not a small stat boost, and it doesn't stop there. All the new swords past a certain point have Soulflow abilities. I believe starting at the Void Edge Katana, which is the one I currently have. So as you can see by the ability Soul Cry, gain plus 200 ferocity against Enderman for 4 seconds. This costs me 200 mana as well as 1 Soulflow, and it has a 4-second cooldown. So I can right click it, it gives me this ability. I get this extra ferocity for a while, as well as yeah, it's just really good. This basically helps you shred through the hits phase. If you have this armor set and the full set bonus is going where you get 200 ferocity here, plus 200 ferocity from the sword, that's an extra 400 ferocity, which is an extra 4 hits every time you hit, which is quite ridiculous. It definitely adds up. And as you progress through the Enderman Slayer, you unlock better versions of the sword. So for example, at Ender Slayer 5, I can preview the rewards, but there's the Vorpal Katana. As you can see, deal 200% damage to Enderman, which is really nice. It's a good sword, and it's starting to get better. The ability Soul Cry now, still 200 mana, still 1 Soulflow, but now I get 300 ferocity against Enderman for 4 seconds just by using my 1 Soulflow and my mana. So as you can see, it increases just like that, and there's one above that actually gives 400 ferocity, which is insane as well. If you're wondering where you go after this talisman and your engine, there is an upgrade engine, the Soulflow engine. The lesser one is the previous version. As you can see, placing it in a minion will reduce the minion's output by 50%, but it will start generating Soulflow items. While equipped on a Voidling minion, output is increased by 3% per minion level. So for example, if you have a tier 11 Voidling minion, which is very expensive by the way, you get an extra 33% increased speed on your minion, which is actually really cool. So I think that's a little good feature at least, and I believe there might be a version above the Soulflow engine. Don't quote me on that though. As you can see here, the upgrade to the talisman, the Soulflow Battery, the ability on the first one was 5 Soulflow and the 200 overflow mana when leaving combat. This one is now when leaving combat, convert up to 4 Soulflow, which is 1 less, for 400 overflow mana, which is an extra 200 overflow mana, which could be useful. I need to understand overflow mana a bit more. And we also have like abilities on special items such as this, where you can convert 15 Soulflow to gain up to 600 overflow, but lose 25% of your health. Or ability Extreme Measures, costs 300 overflow mana, heal for 40% of your health, but deal minus 8% damage for 40 seconds. The amount of like small details and calculations in so many of these items is honestly quite absurd. It really is, but I think it's a really cool update overall. And I'm really excited to see where Soulflow can actually take us from here. But this is what I can see so far. And I think this is, I think you should have a decent understanding of what Soulflow is. It's very needed if you want to do some of the higher bosses, especially on like this armor set and the new swords. Those are the big ones. And then also some of the new items and their abilities. This update came with a lot of new complicated game mechanics. If you guys want to see some videos on some of the other new items, let me know by leaving a comment or a like down below. I would love to cover whatever you guys want to see on this update. I'm really enjoying it so far. I've been playing it on my main profile and a little bit on my Iron Man. There's only so far I can get on there so far. But I'm having a ton of fun with this. Let me know what you guys want to see for video ideas in the comment section down below. That's going to be it for me today. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't new around here. Follow me on Twitter at ZachPlaysAN. If you want to see me grinding out some of this update, follow me on Twitch at ZachPlaysAN Live. All the links will be in the description down below. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.